Hey everyone, welcome back to BrickVault. I'm still a little sick, so please excuse my voice, but that won't stop me from bringing you a brand new build that gets added to the BrickVault collection. This time we have a starfighter that has had way too little screen time for its coolness. This is the Rogue class Porex 38 Starfighter, or you may also know it as the MagnaGuard Starfighter and the Xanadu Blood by bounty hunter Cad Bane. Both of these ships have been seen in the Clone Wars, and if you're like me and you never actually noticed it in the show when you were a kid, you know this starfighter from its LEGO set from 2008. I myself got it for Christmas and my birthday that year, which actually is the same day, fun fact about me. So yeah, I have a lot of nostalgia for the LEGO set, and I have to say I haven't seen a better mock of this ship out there. These are just insanely good. These ships were designed by the amazing Bowstuds, who also designed our E-Wings and the Resistance Y-Wing, and I gotta say, Bowstuds is becoming one of my favorite designers because they really mastered the art of realism and smoothness, but also make the models so sturdy and playable. Bowstuds is my favorite when it comes to satisfying interlocking sub-assemblies. You really feel the craftsmanship. Anyways, the MagnaGuard Starfighter, as the name may suggest, is piloted by General Grievous's personal bodyguards, the MagnaGuard droids, and I think you can tell this is a Separatist vehicle just from its appearance. Cad Bane actually got his very own modified MagnaGuard Starfighter from Sidious himself to capture young Force sensitives across the galaxy to bring to Mustafar. And if you want to capture the parts for these two beautiful models, you can find the parts list and also the instructions to build them on our website BrickVault.toys. After purchase you get a download link immediately and the instructions have been tested so you can get started right away. With every purchase you support the designers behind these builds too. So that's BrickVault.toys, and back to the video. Let's start with the MagnaGuard. It's 28.5 cm long or 11.2 inches, 31.5 cm wide or 12.4 inches, and 14.5 cm tall on its stand or 5.7 inches. For better sense of scale, here's a wood plank as a size reference. The model is full minifig scale and it consists of 1295 pieces. The stand adds another 185 pieces and the parts will set you back around 100 to 120 USD. And the stand adds another 10 to 15 USD. Even though the MagnaGuard Starfighter is best known for its dark grey LEGO set, Bowstuds also made a light bluish grey version just in case, because in the Clone Wars it's not super obvious which shade of grey it actually is. Since this is the ship of General Grievous's personal guard, it makes sense to compare it to the Soulless One, which is Grievous's ship, and since that's dark grey too, I think dark grey is the way to go for the MagnaGuard fighter. The ship is displayed on a black stand that gets connected to the underside, nothing too special about that, but of course it's always a nice addition for display. It just studs into the underside, very simple. This model makes excellent use of all the newish curvy and round LEGO pieces that came out over the past few years. Those make the ship look really smooth, really elegant lines all over, which I love on this build. Really sets it apart from all the other MOCs I've seen or will out there, which maybe didn't have the benefit of those round pieces. I especially like the use of the wedge slopes on the front of the engines. I think this is the perfect piece to use here and I'm super happy Bowstuds came up with this design. It just makes sense and fits perfectly. I also like the piping around the engine. Too bad the pistol pieces don't come in black, that would have been a bit cooler, but we see the piping in all dark grey on the Xanadu Blood. And also a hot dog piece has been used for piping as well, nice parts usage. We have this fin here on top of the engine, using jumper plates and also a container door to thin it out towards the rear. Very nice use of it here, and I love how Bowstuds built up this engine to make room for all these cool minute details. Generally, despite everything looking so good, it's all done very consciously too, so the whole model feels really sturdy and well thought out, as I mentioned in the beginning, but I don't get tired of saying it because it just sets this model apart. In the back are minifig ski pieces used for this heat vent kind of detail. Another minifig footwear used as detail. I think I'm going to point this out in future models too, because I just recently noticed that gets used a lot as detail in builds like these. I like that Bowstuds was able to keep most of the connection from the cockpit to the engines just one brick thick. The curved edge on the front is angled slightly, which is nice, and the curves on top next to the cockpit are present on the underside as well. The cockpit has some nice shaping to it, with all sorts of interesting angles achieved here, not only in the back but especially the front, and its color blocking is excellent. I like that both studs didn't just use a regular windscreen element here, because none of the ones LEGO produces captures the shaping of this so accurately. It's supposed to be a very roundish cockpit section with grey support struts among the glass, so this is definitely the way to go. Some of the window area is black, but some is actually see-through, so you can see the minifig inside, which is nice, and I'll show you that better in the Xanadu Blood in a minute. The cockpit can be opened up. For that you need to take off a tile on the bottom to make room for the movement of the front, and the top section can be angled up, but I found it's easier to just take it off. It's connected with just 2 studs. The front then angles forward very nicely, and there's a tiny bit of control detail in the front and a backrest for the MagnaGuard to rest on. The minifig can be placed in here even with the cape on, which is nice. On the bottom we also have a couple of open studs where you can insert these simple bits of landing gear, so it can be displayed landed as well. Nice addition. Now on to the Xanadu. It has a few more pieces, which just by looking at it makes sense. 1413 without the stand to be exact. And because of all the colored pieces, which are a little rarer than your regular dark grey, this also is a little bit more expensive at 130 to 180 USD based on your location and bricklink sellers near you. Although this looks really different, most of the core and the outside shaping is built exactly the same, but with the big exception of the curved parts, because most of the ones on the grey Starfighter aren't available in olive green. Also, the build for the support between the cockpit and engines makes space for some of the incredibly well made color blocking. You can see 2 yellow lines going towards the back with triangular shield pieces used in the back. Surprisingly, all this has been achieved without impeding the sturdiness, which again is a trademark of Bostad's build style. We have quite a bit of dark orange and dark red details scattered throughout, which is accurate. This is a fairly messy colored looking ship in universe, so this makes perfect sense. And also some of the dark grey here, which is supposed to represent wear and tear from all the missions Cad Bane was on in this ship, is also accurate to the real ship and simultaneously was necessary because again we have a very limited selection of olive green pieces, so some have to be other colors. I think this works incredibly well here, and like I said, dark grey piping details on the engines. Now, of course, this can also be landed with the help of the extra pieces for the landing gear, and Cad Bane can be placed inside. But you have to take off his head for him to fit. But since he's flying this ship in the Clone Wars without a head anyways, and would probably take it off for flying, this is perfectly fine and accurate. Here you can also see how he can be seen through the front windscreen. This just looks cool. Cad Bane is such a badass character in the show. You could maybe even say he's the Jango Fett of the Clone Wars with all his screen time, and I feel like his personal ship is very unknown, unrightfully so. It's so cool and serves such a cool role in the show, kidnapping babies. Please don't clip that sentence out of context. Anyways, both ships are incredibly swooshable, very fun to do so because the hand rests perfectly at the back. If you've had the LEGO set back in the day, you know what I mean. The model feels very robust. I haven't had anything come off during play or handling, so yeah, 10 out of 10 from me. If you want to build either of these models yourself, you can find the building instructions on BrickVault or in the video description. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, let me know in the comments which model you would want to build out of these two. I think I'd go with Cad Bane's ship just because it deserves more love. And I mean, it's Cad Bane, no more justification needed. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one, here at BrickVault.